everybody to another 15 Minutes With, and I have Megan Neumann with me today. And Megan runs Sierra Child and Family Services here in Tahoe. And it's been a number of years since we talked about or highlighted the work that she does that is absolutely invaluable to Tahoe. And not just Tahoe, because Megan works with families in other places as well. But Megan, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So before I start, Megan, just tell me, were you born in Tahoe?
No, I've been here 15 years.
And where were you born?
Somerset. No, that's not true. Go back. I was born in Santa Rosa.
Oh, really? Okay, so you were a Northern California girl.
Yeah.
Got it. So what first brought you to Tahoe?
So about 15 years ago, I got a part-time summer job helping out this one-man show office up here. The social worker's name was Leela Rosner, and she needed some help with her kiddos. And so I came up here for the summer.
How about that? Well, the Rosners are great. They have a great history here in our church. In fact, I just talked to Brian the other day, and they're doing good, but still have challenges, and they would love to be back here. So I didn't realize that was your start, was working with Leela.
Yeah, I said in my interview, I said, look, I'm not into the whole child welfare thing. I don't like the snow. I'm not going to be here past the fall, but I'll take the job for the summer. And I wasn't a month into it. I was so in love with the job and the community and working with Leela. And within a year, she was gone and off starting her family, and I took over her position, and I've never left.
How about that? Okay, so what about the snow today? Do you love the snow, or are you still here? You love the community and you put up with the snow?
I have a very complicated relationship with snow.
That's a good answer.
And I have to go somewhere warm at least once every winter, and at least twice a week I have to get out cross country skiing. So neither of those have happened because of COVID and toddlers. So I'm not doing well with it right now, but in general, it's pretty awesome.
So a lot has changed for you because you came here single and you're not single anymore. You're married and you have two kiddos now.
I have someone who just turned 2 and someone who's 3 in my little home. So we do a lot of coloring and slides and play with dinosaurs and Paw Patrol vehicles.
So one last quick question before we get to business here. So before COVID hit, and you said once a year you got out to somewhere warm. So where was the last year? Where was the warm destination that you got off to for the winter?
The last warm vacation I took was to Louisiana because that's where my husband is from. And so we go to Louisiana, New Orleans on a regular basis. And it's humid and warm and wonderful as long as you're near the beach.
So I already asked you, you explained how you got here and how you got involved in working with foster services for kids and families. So I'm curious, before you talk about your work specifically, I'm just curious about how has your perspective been changed doing the work you're doing now that you're a parent?
Okay, so I knew you were going to ask me that, and I didn't have a good answer. And I thought, and I actually asked all my family, my parents and my brother and everybody, because I figured I just didn't have the insight. And nobody can come up with anything. It hasn't really. And then I got worried about myself. And so I've just spent a lot of time thinking about this. And the truth is that for me, fostering has always been very personal. And it's a huge part of my personal life and my family life because my parents were foster parents my whole life growing up. And I have about 24 foster siblings that came in and out of my house while I was a child. Not at the same time.
Yeah.
But in and out. And I have some foster siblings that to me are just as much a part of my family as anybody blood related. And I have some foster siblings that I've never seen since the day they walked out of our door when I was a kid. And it was defining. It defined me as a human. I've never been able to uh, escape it. In college, I went through a period of time where I thought I wanted nothing to do with the child welfare system. But once you know that it exists and you know that there are children in your community that literally just need a safe home, you can't forget that. You can't just go to church and read Bible verses about taking care of the orphans and then go home to your house with an empty bedroom and a two-car family and just forget that there are kids that literally need a safe bed. Um, and so I feel like it's been my personal life that has drawn me to the work, not the other way around.
Yeah. That's, Megan, that's really profound because I know that being a foster care parent or even having foster care siblings can be a challenge. But clearly, God marked in your own life and experience that it was um, something you couldn't ignore. That's pretty profound.
It's been, yeah, it's one of the most defining things in my life, personally, other than my faith and maybe a couple other things. It's why I'm here,
Yeah,
and that is powerful.
yeah, yeah. Amazing that God has clearly put a call on your life to do this. That's pretty profound. So, I think that like anytime anybody lives in a community, we think we know the community and we know what's going on, we know what the needs are or what's important or what draws people here. But foster care and the needs, I think a lot of times people aren't really aware, and we look around and it's not something that I think is immediate and comes to mind for everybody. So can you describe a little bit about what the need is here in Tahoe?
Yeah, and I have two answers: the general answer and then the unique 2021 answer, because the world looks a little bit different right now. But in general, we actually have a pretty high need here in South Lake Tahoe for foster homes and adoptive homes. We have a beautiful community, but we're also plagued with some economic problems, and that goes hand in hand with child abuse and neglect. So when kids are abused or neglected in their homes and the state removes them from their family, they need to go live with a foster family until their birth family is ready and able to care for them safely again. So ideally, it's short term, but sometimes those kids can never go home and they need to be adopted, and there's a need for that too. The issue that we have in South Lake Tahoe, among many, is that children can't cross state lines. So I can only work, kids from California can only be placed in California. So once you cross into Nevada, nobody on that side of the lake can help care for these kids. So our community right there is cut in half.
Hmm.
Um, and historically, I've been doing this for a long time and have stats for decades before that. Historically, the South Lake Tahoe community only opens up about half of the number of beds that we need in order to care for all the kids. So changes every year, but about half of the foster kids from South Lake Tahoe, when they are removed from their families, mind you, sometimes they're picked up from school, sometimes it's in the middle of the night. They're not packing a bag. They're just, it's an emergency and they're gone. About half of those kids have to go off of the hill, and they're in Jackson, they're in the Bay Area, they're in Sacramento, they're in all these other places. And those kids, they have so much more trauma because they've lost, in addition to their family, they've lost their church, their school, their teacher, their friends, the snow. Some kids wake up the next day and they go to an elementary school in Sacramento and they have to walk through metal detectors and there's police officers on the grounds. It's a huge culture shock for them to have to leave Tahoe.
And that's all precipitated because there just aren't enough volunteers here in Tahoe to meet the need.
There's not, in general, like I said, we're only able to serve about half the kids because we just don't have enough foster homes locally that are interested in taking kids. Um, right now, we have a really unique situation because of COVID too, where kids haven't been in school and the communities haven't been open. And so there's a lot of people that are not seeing kids So normally, if abused or neglected kids are being seen and somebody notices and they make a report, and that's not happening. It's nationwide. We're seeing about 25% of the kids are coming into foster care compared to a typical year. And so the general idea is that probably those kids are still being abused or neglected. It's just that nobody's seen kids. So as COVID ends, as schools reopen, as communities reopen, we expect there to be basically 2 years worth of kids coming into care all at the same time. And so, right now, very specifically, if you've ever thought about fostering or opening up your home, now would be a really good time because we need as many homes as we can ready and willing so
Mm.
that when I don't know when, but maybe August rolls around and kids are back in
Yeah.
school, people are going to start noticing what kids aren't making it to school, what kids aren't being fed, and we need a lot of homes ready by about August.
All right. So, Megan, I'm curious about opportunities. If someone has a heart for the things that you're doing and wants to get involved, what are the different opportunities that are available?
Well, there are a couple of different kinds of homes that we are looking for. So we need homes that are interested in caring for kids short term. This can be a couple of days or a couple of weeks. And we need homes that are willing to take in kids long term, which we consider to be 6 months to maybe 18 months or 2 years. And then they go home. And we also need families that are interested in adoption. We have a huge need, especially during holidays, for people to do what's called respite care, which means that when a foster family goes on vacation, sometimes they're not allowed to bring their foster kids with them. It depends. And so sometimes we need another home for those kiddos to go to for either a weekend or a week or so. And that's always a big need because everybody needs it at the same time, spring break. I wanted to add that nationwide, there's lots of kids. You can find them on national websites like adoptuskids.org, kids that are freed for adoption and waiting in foster care for their forever family. And there's somewhere around 5,000 kids right now in California who've been freed for adoption and are waiting. So even if foster care isn't right for you, but adoption might be, contact us and we can help you get matched with a child who's freed for adoption.
Last question I want to ask you here is just um, I'm assuming there's a connection, just you were talking a little bit about this earlier, to foster care and your faith, and like how your faith impacted your heart for this work and how it continues to help reinforce your faith or your trust in God.
Yeah, that's a big question. Um, it's hard for me to describe how foster care is connected with my faith because I feel like there's no separation. I feel like this is God's work. I feel like when I read everything that Jesus said and that he did and that he held dear, that taking care of a child that needs a family would be top on his list. And I also feel like, sorry, I feel like for me personally, I have faith that every single child out there, God loves and God has a home for them, has a family picked out for them. And I feel like it's my job to find that family and approve them so that they can take that kid. Because I don't believe that our God has kids out there without a plan. And so when I'm out there talking about the need for foster parents, I come at it with this faith that fostering is not right for everybody. And I completely understand that. I, but this town has enough foster parents in it. I just have to find them and I have to follow God's lead so that he can lead me to these people. And that once they hear about the need, God will speak to their heart to step up.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Megan. Really, you know, um, thanks for your work in our community and your investment in families and kids' lives. And just really thankful for your commitment to Jesus and following his way for your life. And so thank you. Thanks, and thanks for taking time
Thank
to
you.
talk with me about your work and what you're doing and how we can partner with you. So if people want to find out about getting qualified or find out more about your work, I'm going to attach a card here to the end of the video, and it'll have the website and information that you can contact Megan to find out more. So Megan, thank you for taking the time to share with us your work and your heart.
Thank you.